Let's do a live critique of a viewer's resume. For background, I've worked in finance for 15 years and I've interviewed over 100 people for different types of financial analyst roles and looked at a lot of resumes. For this resume, I scrubbed out the name and the personal identifier on the resume for privacy purposes, but I want to give a shout out to this viewer for being brave enough to send in their resume for critique. And throughout this video, I'm going to be very honest, so don't take anything I say personally, but look at it as a learning opportunity, and I genuinely want to help you get the job that you want. So I'm going to take you through 3 different pillars of a good resume. 1 is structure, 2 is the content, which looks at fit and experience, and 3 is to assess if this person is detail-oriented. That means there should be no mistakes, no spelling errors, no grammar errors. Everything needs to be aligned perfectly. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is structure. Notice that it is over a page long. This is a big no-no. You always want to have everything on one page. Now, if you're a PhD or an expert, then you may have a CV that's multiple pages. But if you're a financial analyst and you have less than 10 years of experience even, then you need to have everything on one page. So we're going to cut that down into one page. But before I do that, let's see what else needs to change in terms of structure. If you're getting out of college and looking for a job, and let's say you don't actually have any work experience, then in that case, you might want to put education first. But in this person's case, they do have some experience. So we're going to move this around so that the work experience comes first and then the education. So we'll deal with the content later. We're going to put it before the skills and interest because, to be honest, nobody cares about your interests and, skills. Yes, like everybody's going to say Microsoft, Excel, financial modeling. So first we switched around the work experience so that it comes first, and then education, and then skills and interests. Now, the next thing I see is that for each role, this person states what their title was, where they worked in terms of company, and here they state where that was, versus here they don't. Here they put the name of the company first and then the title. So it's inconsistent. This one doesn't have where they worked listed after the title either. So we're going to make that consistent. I might make some stuff up because I don't know the full context of this person's experience. So let's make it consistent here. Let's put title first. And again, here, you see how there was a little space? We want to get rid of that. Everything has to align. So we're going to put the title first, and then we'll put the name of the company that they worked at. Either have the location of where this company was for all of the roles or don't have it at all. I don't know what the other places were, so I'm just going to take this out. Now, another thing to notice is that the dates here don't align to the right. And here as well, these bullet points don't align on the right hand either. So we're going to have to fix that. Let's just highlight everything and then make sure it doesn't go past this line. Okay. So we're going to fix the title and the order of the title and the company first. Consultant, and then dash, space, and then company. Personal banking advisor, dash. There are 2 spaces here. Get rid of one of the spaces, and then the company. And then here as well, the company comes first. Again, that's inconsistent. So let's take the title first, put it, then a dash. And here, you see the dash here is smaller than this dash. You have to make that consistent. So nice and big. And get rid of this dash over here. Let's bring this up a little bit so the years align. And then once more over here. It does not look like this person had a specific company that they worked at as a mentee, but we still want to be consistent. So let's say something like investment analyst mentee. And then we can put whatever this mentor's company was. Let's do that. Again, we want to make that consistent. So now the title and the company is in a consistent order. Let's see over here. There's no space in between the year and the dash. And this dash is smaller than all of the other dashes. Again, let's fix that. These are little things, but again, they make a big difference when the hiring manager looks at your resume. Let's continue with the structure. In the education section, oh gosh, this it has all caps, month and then year. That is all inconsistent with these dates as well. So let's fix that. Again, here there's a little space. Let's get rid of that space. CFA Institute Level 1 candidate registered for 2024 Level 1 CFA. We don't need to write really when you're registered for it. If you're a candidate, it just means that you are registered for the exam. So let's leave it as such. I believe the CFA Institute does not allow you to put a date on when your exam is going to be or when you're expected to pass the exam. I have to look up the rule, but make sure that what you put down on your resume is consistent. This person has University of blah. You don't need to put when you started. So let's say completed December 2022. Again, why is this all caps? It's not consistent. Now, this person, I believe, is in Australia. I am not familiar with the convention of the grades in Australia, so I don't really have a comment on this. But again, why is this all caps whereas the others aren't? I don't agree with putting specific class score. I think that's what it is, corporate financial decision making. So let's take that out. We want to reduce this down to one page, so we want to conserve as much space as possible. You don't need to have a separate line for what that is. So let's put an overall WAM of 58. Then the next was University Diploma of Financial Planning. Okay, and again, you can put completed. University Diploma of Engineering discontinued due to primary interests. You don't need to put that. Basically, the hiring manager looks at your resume literally for 5 seconds or less. And then if they see a mistake or if they see that the structure is wrong, then they're just going to discard it and then go to the next one. But if everything looks perfect, then they're going to delve deeper into reading the resume. And when they're reading through it, they're not going to spend more than 2-3 minutes on it. They're just going to skim, skim, skim. And having diploma of engineering but discontinued is not going to be helpful in making that hiring manager's decision. So we don't need unnecessary things. I don't know what this is, Victorian Certificate of Education, but again, just having the Bachelor of Commerce Finance is enough. So I would take this out as well. Okay, now we're almost down here. Okay, there you go. Okay, here you go. That's why. Get rid of that. Put a line here. Again, let's start this right at the line. Get rid of the extra spaces. You know what? I changed my mind. I don't like this. This is way too broad and vague. You need to show these in your experience above. Unless you have very specific skills like a certain coding language, or you know how to speak like 5 different languages and you list them, or you know how to use a certain, I don't know, certain like platform, then you might want to list it. But if that's not the case, let's get rid of these very broad skill sets that you're assumed to know how to do, like communicate and manage your time. So instead, we'll just put interests. Let's get rid of skills here. Just put interests. And then here, we don't need to have interests because it's just going to be interests. Let's put that, line it up. Training out of MMA gym, investing in Australian equities, passionate supporter of the blah, blah football club. Let's change training out of MMA gym into, MMA, let's say avid MMA trainer and I don't know what you call it, fighter. And let's list out what MMA is. Mixed martial arts trainer. Let's just do that. Researching, analyzing, and investing. Too many commas here. Researching and investing in Australian equities. And let's say, okay, let's put passionate supporter of the football club. I'm going to take out the so we can have it all on one page. I think this person meant references, unless maybe in Australia you do call them referees. You don't need to list them on your resume. This is if they ask you for references, you can provide them. So I'm going to take this out altogether. The first thing that we wanted to do, which is structure and have everything on one page, is done. That's great. Now what? Second thing is look at content. Now I asked this person what kind of job they wanted to apply for, and they said equity analyst jobs. Doing a brief read of some of these, they don't really have experience in equity analyst. There's a lot of transferable skills, but there's nothing that screams that this person has the right experience and skill set to be a equity analyst. So we're going to have to massage a lot of these words here. Also, another thing is some people prefer to have a period at the end of every bullet point. Some do not. My preference is to not have it because these are not complete sentences with subject, verb, and object. But if you do prefer to have a period, then make sure you have a period for every single bullet point, because if you're missing one, then that is going to be detrimental. See what bullet points and skill sets we want to weave into the resume and turn the transferable skills from this person's previous roles that don't really have anything to do with equity analyst, but make it as attractive as possible for an equity analyst hiring manager. So for this person as a consultant, prepared, drafted, and lodged tax returns for individual clients, built balance sheets, income statements from small to mid-sized businesses, calculated their GST liability using Excel-based taxation model, examined underlying documentation for property ownership, submitted loan applications, developed positive relationships with lenders and clients. So this is all really good stuff, good transferable skills. Let's make it a bit more equity analyst-esque. First of all, the built balance sheets and income statements, that's basically, doing financial statement analysis, and building models. So let's write developed financial models and forecasts for small to mid-sized businesses, including analyzing tax implications for the clients. Essentially, the prepared, drafted, and lodged tax returns is very back office. And for an equity analyst, you want to show that you're capable of doing more of upfront researching, working with the clients, giving recommendations as opposed to taking the information and putting it together in a form, preparing government documentation for filing. And this person likes to put period, so let's do that. Let's take this out. Next was examining underlying documentation for property ownership, submitted loan applications to the underwriter for verification and recommendation. Now, we don't want to lie. We just want to make the skills transferable. So let's put conducted thorough due diligence of underlying property documentation for verification by the underwriter and provided recommendation to the clients on loan approvals. Okay, and then the next is developed positive relationships with lenders and clients while assisting in managing the property portfolio and leasing ingoings and routines. Oops, let's put period here. collaborated with lenders, clients while assisting in managing, I'm not sure what this is, but property portfolio. I don't think we need to put leasing, ingoings, and routines. I think this is good enough here. Okay, the next one, personal banking advisor. Providing, okay, so here, this was past tense action verb. Here, we're saying providing customers. Again, we want to be consistent. But let's see what it says here. Providing customers with a seamless banking experience and fostering relationships with individuals to ensure their financial needs are met across transaction activities. I think that's good. So this is basically like customer service skills, right? Like client relationship skills. I think that's really important for equity analysts. So let's put managed multiple stakeholders, including providing customers with a seamless banking experience and fostering positive relationships with individuals to ensure their financial needs are met across transaction activities. I think that's good. Supporting customers with traditional banking needs and service transactions, putting the customer's needs at the center of everything. That's basically the same thing as the first bullet point. And it's not important enough to have 2 bullet points for an equity analyst role. So we'll take that one out. Ensuring financial transactions are completed accurately and efficiently while complying with all policies, procedures, and regulatory and banking requirements, helping build relationships with clients by connecting with team members who can help them address their financial needs. Okay, this one again. Okay, let's put worked closely with cross-functional teams across is too similar to cross-functional teams that gather information, validate assumptions, connect to clients and facilitate providing support to clients on transactions and banking needs. And then coming back to this one, ensuring financial transactions are completed, let's put executed financial transactions accurately and efficiently while complying with all policies, procedures, and regulatory and banking requirements. That's good. All right, the next one is equity research analyst. Over the winter, I undertook an online 3-week winter internship in their equity division. This involved bottom-up fundamental company analysis, including, because it was just a 3-week internship, it doesn't warrant having 5 bullet points. Do this, equity research analyst intern, because then it'll show that why the stint was so short, as opposed to thinking that this person got fired or quit because they weren't able to keep a job for longer than a month. So let's put intern there. We don't need a narrative. Take that out. Let's put supported bottom-up fundamental company analysis, including developing long-term DCF models, comma, building assumptions using market trends, industry trends, and financial ratios of historical data to forecast revenues and expenses of companies. Sure. Synthesize complex data into slide decks. Let's put PowerPoint slides for visual representation to present to senior analysts. PowerPoint is already a visual representation, so this is redundant to say. Let's take that out. Synthesized complex data into PowerPoint slides for executive level presentation to senior analysts. Analysis completed focused on Webjet, Schrödinger. You don't need to write the companies. I think you could say something like, if the companies were of a certain industry and you were really interested in a certain industry, like let's say, healthcare or tech, but in this case, you don't need to. Contributed to the investment blog of this company. This included general market news, stock expectations, and macroeconomic analysis. I think that's great as well. So let's put conducted in-depth research on market news, stock expectations, and macroeconomic analysis, which were published on the investment blog of blah, blah, blah capital. And then finally here, investment analyst mentee for a couple of years, received detailed training and daily engagement from this person, former chief investment officer of this capital. Oversaw an opportunistic multi-asset investment strategy focused on generating alpha through idiosyncratic investments. Performed extensive company and industry analysis and research covering the blah and blah business. Work involved constructing research reports. So again, this is a bit long. The hiring manager is not going to read through all of that. And typically you don't put the name of the person that you supported. So I think what you can do instead is just have, let's not write this, oversaw an opportunistic multi-asset investment strategy focused on generating alpha. This is very fluffy. We don't need that. Doesn't show your experience. Performed extensive company and industry analysis and research. Work involved constructing research reports. Performed extensive company industry research, comma, and then you can put created research reports with direct feedback to optimize learning. Research reports, created research reports for mentor, right? So let's put CFO of the company. Developed complex and robust financial valuation models to assess company performance, evaluate investment potential, and prepared recommendations for decision making. And then here are the three: statement, financial model, operating model, discounted cash flow. You can put them, yes, let's put them right here. So put, for example, 3 statement to assess. That was all part of one sentence. And then the final was, role is unpaid and displays my eagerness to learn and continue to develop my perceptiveness and critical thinking. No, don't need that. All right, that is the end of that. We already did education and interests. Now, when we zoom out, we have some space here. So we're going to play around with the formatting a little bit. And that, my friends, is how you can edify a resume for the role that you want. If you want your resume critiqued, you can send it to financialanalystnetwork@gmail.com.